precinct lines moving. They call it gerrymandering. It probably is, not for sure. Um, but I know a few times they've moved, the districts around too, and so people have been kind of confused by that. So we were just like, wouldn't it be dope if we just showed people? I know it's dope for me, and we're a bunch of nerds, y'all. So sorry. That's why we try to make it easy to look up where your precinct is. And so that's what turning out the polls is all about. It's just looking up where your precinct is, knowing where it cuts off, where it's at. Even if you just have that awareness, that's a more electoral measure than you had before.
Right.
But within that, knowing who your neighbors are, maybe, somebody that's within the precinct, you was like, I bet they don't vote, or maybe they do, or maybe they need some help getting to the polls. Maybe it's an elder. Maybe it's a mom with a bunch of kids. Maybe it's a working family. You want to make arrangements to help them get to the poll, especially if it's early in the morning. Remembering that polls open up at 6 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. Something else that people don't know is that you have a right to leave work to go vote.
Mm-hmm.
Tarquin, we have free rides all day. This day is very important this year. The Louisville Democrats have rides too. I get all this information. I was like, let me just get all of it.
So we have a flyer that we are going to have Miss Chanel here. She's going to put it in the comments so that you have the information. You know how to get the information for a turnout to vote. So once again, like she just said, you do have a right to leave work, and they have to give you, I believe, 2 hours. Isn't it correct? They have to give you 2 hours to go vote on voting day. Also, it is important to check and make sure your voting location hasn't changed. Like she said, they're moving the lines. You also should always pre-check to make sure you're on the roads. Because mysteriously things happen to these roads, I heard.
And that has taken place. I just had somebody call me yesterday. And a lot of people, have a permanent address because they may not be ready to find somewhere to just set just as a yet, and that's people's rights. And they sent her a letter, and it was just like, nah, you got to do all of this, for Tuesday. And she's like, I got to get an ID, I got to do all of that. She's like, lucky, I got the money to even go do it, but there's some people that don't have the money. And then, like, I don't have the time to go get me an ID made. And I'm like, those are some ways that we intimidate folks from going to
the polls.
Yeah.
Right.
But also pay attention to, like, what's happening nationally, too. Like, we're looking at states that are being so emboldened to be like, oh, no, we threw away 14,000 people. We good. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are really trying to do that. So we try to stay on top of it here in Louisville. And there's an organization that I know really did that from the heart and on the ground, and that was Kentuckians for the Commonwealth. Not a lot of people know about them. And they do a lot of electoral justice work in the state. Okay. And that was one of the things that they really got behind and did.
Okay. So, let's talk about baby Trump a little bit more. We're gonna talk about our local, because like you said, that's where it all begins. So little baby Trump did all this mess with these teachers in this school system. And yet right now we are fighting a crisis to where we are having a lot of violence, a lot of things that are happening in our schools. And everybody's trying to figure out why. What happened? Where did all this come from? Well, like you said, the governor's office works a little bit faster. And there's a lot of things that went into play, and a lot of people are tired. These teachers are tired. The administration, they're tired. So what are your thoughts on a lot of the stuff that is happening in the schools right now, based off of the stuff that happened with Bevin, these teachers in schools?
You tell me a little history. So what was it, about 2016? I think a lot of people were upset about this hairdo thing that's on traditional list that when you start school, it's something about the natural hair and all of that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you gotta be well rounded. If you want to pay attention to education, look at all the education articles and news that comes out. Check JCPS all the time. They reported that there have been higher assaults and higher referrals and higher disciplinary actions that were reported. So what JCPS is telling us, that there was 2 different places that they were putting those at, and they didn't get a chance to put them in somewhere. But like we got folk that been holding it down for a long time. We got lawyers, and in that same month, that that special needs child had got his legs broken by an assistant or somebody. We also saw a child get choked out, supposedly jokingly, and he passed out. And we're just hearing about, elementary school students handcuffed, safe rooms, etc. A lot of dangerous activity that's taking place. Also, the lack of discipline. I want folks to understand that, discipline is something that we hear at home is totally different. We know discipline is something that we're looking at, whatever. But it has to be put in place and it has to be practiced. So when people are talking about, oh, that was my child and this, that, and the other, that's because you put something in practice over and over again. Our children are away from us for about 8 to 10 hours a day in society. So it's a lot of times at school, but it's also a lot of times with everybody else. And they see all of that behavior. And it's not to say, oh, you know how to act. But there's so many different things that's affecting our children right now that they are now the most traumatized children in the nation, Kentucky's children. And so where do we need to start fixing that at? We can start at home, and folks are doing that. We're trying to figure out with people who are in poverty, how is it that, you can get the things that you all need? Can you get the jobs? That's one thing Baby Trump is trying to say, that he's created all these jobs. No, what you've created is a workforce that has to depend on multiple jobs. So you have a lot of jobs being filled, but you have people doing 2 or 3 jobs.
Well, having multiple streams of income, which
Exactly.
now you dang near need those. Like they say 7, like people legit are dang near needing the whole 7.
Yeah, you sure are.
So,
what's it, average income supposed to be 75?
most of me people making 75 on a regular basis in my neighborhood. So one of the other things that happened was the teacher's retirement, and it was something else that they was fighting.
So at the same time, we've got some laws that, the state came in. I want to say that. The state came in and was like, how we can ready to do this, we can ready to do that. And it's like, okay, that's protocol. But we get ready to switch governors. You can't do that right now. You know what I'm saying? We just got this new one. No, we already knew. That happened, and the guy that was already leading that, and I guess he was working with JCPS really well, kind of got pushed out from where he was deciding to lead that to. So people have this thing that it's all connected to charter schools, to privatization, because Betsy DeVos is in there, and that's what they do. When you privatize all the public entity and all the public funds, so when people talk about socialism, that's what socialism is. We already built that. It's already socialist. That's part of our government socialism.
Right.
They're taking the funds and moving them somewhere else. So then he comes in and he's like, well, you know what else we can do? We can crush all this pension talk because the pensions had got manipulated. How they got manipulated with the politics.
I'm trying to figure out this water bill. How do you slide
In the sewer bill.
in a sewer bill
They be
about the teachers? I was like, wait a minute, hold on, flag. I'm tripping. I just saw somebody say it. They slid this in with a water and sewer bill. And I had to really actually stop and say, let me go look at this. And I was like, they tried it.
Again, an amendment into another bill. So they do it all the time.
Yeah, and people don't know that
They
that's
don't
what they're
know.
doing. And
Yes.
people not actually, like you said, they're not actually getting educated on what's actually happening in General Assembly, the House, the Senate, Congress. Like,
So everybody's like, oh, we've been under, full Democratic pressure for 100 years. Okay, fair, but you still have Republicans. You still have an opposite party to whoever the dominating party is. I don't even want to talk about it as the current parties that's right there, because it wouldn't matter what your name is. It matters what they did. And so while you're there, you're still interrupting what can be passed and what can't be passed. They're still going to do whatever they do in the back rooms, on the tables, in the beds, and everywhere, instead of doing stuff where it needs to be done. So you learn one way, hey, I'm a bill, you remember the little thing will tell you how it's going, okay, but they tell you, you know what I'm saying, like, they get ready to pay somebody, getting ready to do this, they get ready to slide teacher's pension into a sewer bill.
child. I was like, how do they even correlate?
And then
not
I think the
understanding.
major thing people didn't understand was that teachers don't get a retirement. They don't get a regular retirement like everybody else does, so they depend
They
on
don't
this.
even get a regular pay. Let's start there.
Let's start.
Okay,
Let's start.
hold on.
let's
So
start.
I'm for those who do not know, in the JCPS system, even the bus drivers, they break up their pay in so many weeks. So over the summer, they receive a stipend of the pay they already should have gotten. It's actually paid to them over the summer. So you don't even receive your whole paycheck that you already worked for. And then they don't get an actual real retirement, people. It's a pension.
A pension. What's
They-
a pension?
That's the stuff the old folks was talking about. The elders, they were saying my pension check is coming and I gotta split it up and make sure I can pay my bills and get my medicines.
You know, it's hot girls be like, what's your pension number? That's what we be talking about. Because they used to get that. They used to be at these companies who were able to throw money back and be able to set you up. Teach them. They don't really get that. So they don't have, all they have is this pension, and now you have the state government messing with their pension. But like, let's talk about like the action they can take. They can't even strike, so that's why they did the sick outs. They did the sick outs because they cannot strike. And I'm gonna be real, there was nothing wrong with the sick outs. Everybody in the community was down for them. We all organized. I mean, so many, I was gonna say nursing homes, so many daycares was making moves, you know, organizations was picking up food and stuff, so we understand. Who doesn't understand, of course, is Baby Trump. And he said the most horrible things
about these teachers. And the thing about, first of all, let's back up. So, in order to get their voices heard and say, this is not okay, y'all not gonna slide this into the water sewer bill and make changes that are gonna affect us 5, 10, 15, 20 years down this line. Because you got some people who have been teaching 20 years and they ready to get out. On multiple levels, they're ready to get out. They're tired. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in our communities, in our schools. But then you go and badmouth them, told them that they were the reason that some child was going to be molested or raped or abused.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that part because I got an issue. I had a really big issue with that. Because how does a teacher working prevent that from happening? So if that's one of your concerns, why are you not doing something to protect our children from sexual predators and abusive people? Because y'all keep putting them in situations.
Okay,
but y'all want to take kids from people who ain't doing something. I'm confused.
And my thing is, you're a whole parent of 9 children. How, one, and then you have black children in your home. The other thing was, last spring he opened up talking about, I'm going to send my children to chickenpox parties because they don't have any shots, and I'm going to purposely get them sick so they can be over that. The reason we even have vaccinations, I think, like, it gets convoluted, especially after that poopy doctor like lied and led this whole movement around don't vaccinate your children and did all this back study that was actually showed out to be false, and he falsified so many documents that people actually died of those diseases. Those diseases were deadly at one point. Yeah, we take a risk with vaccinations, but it's 50-50. Am I gonna die or not? And I mean,
my kids have never had chickenpox. My mother is about to be 60, has never had chickenpox. I caught chickenpox.
I gave my kids a shot. Nothing's wrong with them.
And my thing is, yes, there's a possibility that there's some kids who have an adverse reaction to vaccinations. Yes, I'm never going to say that that's not a possibility. That's not happening. That's like getting the flu shot. I refuse to get the flu shot because I feel like it gets me sick. And I'm not interested in you give me this and I'm going to get sick. The flu shot, I can't. I get sick. I mean, literally, I'm sick every time I take it.
I don't like that fever. Me and fevers. I'm a hypochondriac. I be thinking I have everything. Once I get sick, a little sniff, I don't know, that sounds like, I can't.
I'm not interested in being sick. I feel like the flu vaccination, that is one that I don't agree with. Even being an asthmatic, I don't agree with it.
Asthmatic too. But I get scared because how do I know, you're talking about the popular strands, and so this is the vaccination for the popular strands.
But what if there's a strand out here we don't know about?
Thank you.
And I still get it.
And then we asthmatics, did y'all test all this on asthmatic people? I don't want to hear the asthmatic rap. Don't be showing me rats that got asthmatic inhalers.
I'm just saying, there's a whole lot of stuff when you get to talking about all of that. But what I just don't understand is how this man, how he talked about people. But yet, they're the future, they're the leaders of tomorrow, and they're the ones helping raise our children, but you're going to dog them. Because they're fighting for their rights and for what they're working for.
And this is what he says in public. You know what I'm saying? Like,
one is behind the scenes, somebody snuck it, Snapchatted it.
Right.
You publicly had a press conference and talked about these folks. So, when that happened, do you feel that changed the attitude and the atmosphere of the teachers and people working in the schools.